Well, we are looking at part 3 of Federalist number 15. Hamilton is trying to tell the readers what the defects, what the shortcomings of the Articles of Confederation are. It had many problems, and that's why they wrote this new Constitution. One of the issues they had, they could not come up with a uniform foreign policy, and because of that, they were being plagued by other powers. They could not establish a policy where, let's say, if they were to write a treaty with somebody else to do commerce, the other power would not take them seriously. And a host of other things. One of the main things that you will find out is that you will hear over and over that in the state legislatures, they had given too much power to the state legislatures, and these state legislatures were passing laws that were for the short-term benefit of the citizens of the state, not the long-term benefit. Sometimes they would write laws that would benefit the debtors, people who owed money to other people. How would they do that? Sometimes by writing what they call stay laws, S-T-A-Y, just like stay laws, which means that they would write laws to allow people who owed others money legally to wait and not to have to pay their money back when it was due. I think 7 of these states, 7 of the 13 states, printed paper money, printed their own money, which became worthless or lost its value quite a bit. So when that happens, you cannot trade, you cannot establish credit. Now, if I were to give you $1, and after 5 days, after 5 weeks, that dollar was only worth 20 cents, you would probably stop dealing with me in dollar, because you'd say, well, after a while, I'll give you $1, you're returning 20 cents to me. And that was one of the problems that these states had, or states were creating. People were afraid to do business. People were afraid to give credit. And these founders, one of the things they were trying to do is to show the world that this republic is credit worthy, that if you lend us money, we will give it back to you, that we have our act together. We know what we are doing. So just keep that in mind as we go through this Federalist and the rest of the Federalist Papers, actually. Okay, I'll start with paragraph 3. We may indeed with propriety be said to have reached almost the last stage of national humiliation. This might be just the last stage of other countries looking at us as worthless, powerless state that we cannot get our acts together. They're laughing at us. There's scarcely anything that can wound the pride or degrade the character of an independent nation which we do not experience. Anything they can do that would make us look bad, laugh at us, they're doing it. They're degrading our character, putting us down as an independent nation. What kind of a nation they say it is? Is it that cannot pay its debts, it's not creditworthy, doesn't have a navy? Are there engagements to the performance of which we are held by every Thai respectable among the men. These are the subjects of constant and unblushing violation. Do we owe debts to foreigners and to our own citizens contracted in a time of imminent peril for the preservation of our political existence? Notice he says that even our own citizens and other foreign nations are not going to give us any money when we are in time of need. And what kind of a nation would that be? They'll laugh at us. These remain without any proper or satisfactory provision for their discharge. We haven't, in the Articles of Confederation, we haven't talked about these. We haven't worked these out. We haven't paid any attention to it. Have we valuable territories and important posts in the possession of foreign power, which, by express stipulation, ought long since to have been surrendered? Notice he's talking about the forts that were right around here, okay, right in this area, that the British soldiers were still there, kind of close to the Canadian border. After the peace treaty of 1783, Americans who owed money to British merchants were late paying them, or they were not paying them. And what the British were doing in turn, they were not vacating those fortresses. They were not leaving them. And that's what Hamilton is saying. He says they're looking at us as jokes. In the treaty, it says that they need to leave these fortresses, but they're not. These are still retained to the prejudice of our interests, not less than of our rights. Not only they are stepping on our interests and our rights, are we in a condition to resent or repel this aggression? Can we even answer them back? Can we push them out? Are we in a condition, we have neither troops nor treasury nor government. He says we don't have any troops, the right amount of troops, don't have enough money in the treasury, we don't have government. And he himself says he means a federal union. We don't have a government under a union to force these people out. Are we even in a condition to remonstrate with dignity? Can we even show that we have dignity? The just imputations on our own faith in respect to the same treaty ought first to be removed. Are we entitled by nature and compact to a free participation in the navigation of the Mississippi? Spain excludes us from it. Is public credit an indispensable source in time of public danger? We seem to have abandoned its cause as desperate and irretrievable. Is commerce of importance to national wealth? He says we can't do anything to get others to respect us. Notice over here he talks about Spain. Remember, I've already said this is the Mississippi River. And he says Spain doesn't allow us to navigate here, excludes us. And it was very important for Americans to be able to use this huge river, because this river empties into the Gulf, and by ships they can send their products everywhere. And Americans knew that these blue territories, they're going to eventually be populated and become states. It was very important for them to be able to navigate here on this in the Mississippi. Because when you are, remember 230 years ago, when you live inland, means all the way inside here, it would be really hell for you to send your shipment with carts and mules all the way over there. Water is the best way. On boats, cargoes on boats, floating on water is the best way to send it. So he says, look, the British are not leaving their fortresses, Spanish are not letting us allow Mississippi, and we are not credit worthy. People are not going to give us money, lend us money in the time of emergency. Then is respectability in the eyes of foreign powers a safeguard against foreign encroachments? If we are not respected by foreign powers, how would we know that they are not going to encroach upon our power or rights? They're not going to step on it. They're not going to take some of it away. The imbecility of our government even forbids them to treat with us. Our ambassadors abroad are the mere pageants of mimic sovereignty. He says they make so much fun of us that they don't even want to treat us. They don't want to talk to us. Our ambassadors are overseas. Notice at this time, John Adams was in England and Thomas Jefferson was still in Paris. He says they really don't take our ambassadors, our ministers to those nations seriously. It's because they don't respect us. Okay, I think I will continue this paragraph. It was a nice long paragraph in part 4. So reread the paragraph, listen to it again, and just focus and see what he's talking about not being united and being weak. And I think that's our problem. We are not united. We people of the earth are not united, and we are not living to our potential.